Okay, everybody knows you as Winston from Ghostbusters.
Yes.
So you and Howard have this connection to Ivan Reitman. Ivan was the producer on Howard's movie, Private Parts.
First of all, let me say Ivan was really, really a brilliant man, and I have so much just love and appreciation for him.
Does Ghostbusters mean to you what we think it means to you?
Well, I don't know what you think it means, but...
like the biggest role of your life, you know?
No, none of that. They were doing Ghostbusters, and the movie was being made by a lot of people who were really successful. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. You know, they had already made a number of movies. And I was the guy who was brought in. And so finding my place in the middle of that, and they were all welcoming, you know, and inclusive. The studio wasn't. And the studio continued not to be. So it made it very, very difficult because I was a part of, but then very selectively, I was sort of pushed aside. You know, when the posters came out, I'm not on the poster. When it took a long time. I went to the 30th anniversary release of the movie, and I was invited to a theater in Chicago to introduce the movie, and I get there, and all the posters are three guys. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you know. Now, I know the fans see it differently, and I'm so thankful for the fans because the fans have basically identified with Winston, you know, especially young, you know, I don't say minority kids, but a lot of kids, you know, just whatever, real. You know. So it took a long time for the studio, and even now, you know, we're negotiating a new movie that's gearing up to start shooting in March, and I'm like, guys, you know, there's a place that I'm not an add-on, and so if I'm going to do it, it has to make sense, you know.
Yeah.
When you start out in the business, I was always told it's almost impossible to succeed. But if you get in a major movie from a major studio and it comes out and it opens #1, it'll change your career. Well, Ghostbusters didn't do any of that for me. You know, I was working pretty nonstop. I did Ghostbusters, and it was 2.5 years before I got another movie. So, but it was an important movie, a big movie, and I'm so thankful to be a part of the franchise. But it wasn't an easy road. In fact, Ghostbusters, I would say it was probably the most difficult movie I ever did just from the psychological perspective.
Yeah.
You know.
Everything you were dealing with.
The original script, Winston was in the very beginning of the movie. By the time we got ready to shoot the movie, Winston came in halfway through the movie. So it was like all those things.
It felt deliberate, right?
Yeah, it definitely felt deliberate. And I'm still not trying to take it personal because, you know, I'm sure you know, anything bad, if you're African-American and in this country, anything bad happens to you, you can always blame it on, because I'm black, 100%. Bad happens. You know what I mean? You cut in front of me because so you don't want to go there. That's the last thing you want to
But sometimes you just know.
Sometimes
even if you can't explain it, I tell people all the time, I'm like, even if I can't explain it to you, I just know it's because I'm black.
Yeah,
I just know.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait, and when it shows up, wait a minute, I'm getting this and they're getting that, and it's not because, come on.
Yeah.
So I got nothing bad to say about anybody, but it was hard, and it was hard for a long time. It took me probably 10 years anyway, to finally get sort of past that and just embrace the movie and enjoy the movie. It was very hard. Ghostbusters was really hard to make peace with.